Hello neighbors, isn't it a wonderful day in the Cunningham neighborhood? Hi there, and welcome to our annual meeting and Board Appreciation Day. While the world around us has changed in many ways, and life as we knew it now looks very different, we're here to tell you, kindness isn't canceled. And we know it's true because we've seen your kindness and that of many others, especially over the past several months. Today, we're going to take some time to show you our appreciation for our board members and committee members, honor our friend of children, and outstanding alumni recipients, and learn more about some of our newest community service programs. Our very own Chaplain Gay King Creedy will get things started with a blessing.
Just recently, a former Cunningham youth stopped by. It's been 7 years since she was at Cunningham. She stopped by to say that she really wasn't very nice during her time at Cunningham. But in spite of my attitude, she said, the staff were kind to me and they believed in me. We thank each and every one of you today for believing in the mission and ministry of Cunningham and for believing in the possibilities that lie within every child of God and for believing that with God all things are possible. Please join me in prayer. God, you heal and help, and you work wonders, and we are in awe of you each and every day. Thank you for your presence in every moment of every day, in times of joy and in times of hopelessness. Thank you for believing in us, for believing that we can be messengers of hope and healers of broken lives. Thank you for using us to carry forward the mission of Christ at Cunningham. Bless our lives as we live them to your glory. Amen.
Cunningham has been fortunate to experience the kindness of our dedicated board and committee members who, in addition to their love, prayers, and support, volunteer their time to assist us with the oversight of the agency. I would like to extend my gratitude and recognize our retiring board members and committee members, including Anita Ashcroft, Nominations Committee Member, Lemoyne River District UMW District Representative, Anita Blackford, Kaskaskia River District UMW District Representative, Sue Coons, Vice President of the Illinois Great Rivers Conference United Methodist Women, Linda Danz, Chair of Advancement Committee, Nancy Jennings, President of the Vermilion River District UMW, Becky Jones, Chair of the Performance Quality Improvement Committee, Camille McCaskill, President of the Illinois Great Rivers Conference United Methodist Women, Pam McDavid, Education Interpretation Officer for the Illinois Great Rivers Conference United Methodist Women, Sharon Nix, President of the Embraw River District UMW, Mary John Stites, Embraw River District UMW District Representative, Bobby Walker, Chair of the District Representatives Committee and Iroquois River District UMW District Representative, and Ken Wenzel, Finance and Human Resources Committee member. On behalf of the youth and families we serve, thank you for helping us to work towards fulfilling our vision to see every child thrive. Our board president, Cheryl Van Ness, will share how this work is becoming action.
Greetings to you. I'm so glad you're tuning in. I just know you will leave today full of inspiration, knowing it's a beautiful day in the Cunningham neighborhood. This year marks a special year for us. Wow, 125 years initially serving the needs of vulnerable children, especially orphans. In 1895, Judge Joseph and Mary Cunningham deeded their home and 15 acres of land to the women of the United Methodist Episcopal Church, now United Methodist Women. Their country home was given with the understanding that it would provide a safe and nurturing environment for children in need. At the time, Judge Cunningham wrote in his personal journal, "May God's blessing go with this gift, and may it be the means of doing much good." Today, 125 years later, we celebrate all the growth and all the good that has happened and continues to happen at Cunningham. You are part of that, and with your help, those we serve will continue to heal, learn, and grow. Last year, Cunningham provided care to 777 youth, adults, and their families. Of those we served, 56% are male, 77% are between the ages of 10 and 19 years old, and 96% are from Central Illinois. From those early beginnings, we have transformed into so much more than being just a home for kids. Today, Cunningham provides services in 3 distinct ways. Our residential treatment center is a first-class therapeutic facility for youth who have suffered from severe abuse, neglect, and trauma. Our education programs serve the special education and behavioral needs of kids who live at Cunningham, as well as those in our surrounding counties, and our community-based services, which experienced a 40% growth last year, help youth, individuals, and families in our community who needs mental and behavioral health support. Our neighborhoods and our communities experience the ripple effects of our expertise and kindness that we extend to each person we work with. Today, our hope is that you will gain a deeper understanding of the youth, adults, and families we serve. You will hear about the transformation of Timothy and how he experienced kindness in the form of a 100-year-old special tradition at Cunningham. Marie will share about Families Stronger Together, which offers trauma-informed therapeutic services for families with young people involved in the juvenile justice system. You will hear Angie share about ECHO, which provides counseling and case management to support individuals in Champaign County who are homeless or facing homelessness. I am very proud of the kindness and dedication of our Cunningham leadership, staff, donors, and friends who have continued to support one another and for the vital healing work that is happening here. As we transition into this year's Friend of Children Award, I'd like to share this quote, which is so fitting right now. How do we change the world? One random act of kindness at a time.
Friend of Children. For the last several years, the board members of Cunningham Children's Home have selected individuals or organizations who have gone above and beyond to help our kids, and we honor these individuals through the Friend of Children Award. Past recipients of this award include a professional fisherman who has hosted annual fishing clinics for our youth since 2001, a pair of dentists who held dental clinics for our kids, a church member who provided his expertise in Cunningham building projects for 30 years, a local veterinarian who chaired our golf outing for 24 years, our pet therapy four-legged furry friends and their owners who loved our kids unconditionally, the organizers of the annual Motormaster Car Show who have donated the registration fees to Cunningham for more than a decade, local Arby's restaurant franchise owners who, among other things, have sponsored the Festival of Quilts for many years and continue to find ways to support our kids, and an area motorcyclist rights organization which has supported Cunningham kids for 35 years by donating proceeds from their annual Toys Run, purchasing items from our kids' wish lists, as well as buying large gifts for our residential units.
And now it's our pleasure to announce this year's Friend of Children Award recipient. Congratulations to the Office of Student Financial Aid at the University of Illinois. About 15 years ago, the Office of Student Financial Aid took a poll to see if they were reaching out as far as they could for their annual holiday giving project. They received many suggestions for local nonprofits and considered them all, but since their mission has always been about helping young people, they chose Cunningham Children's Home. Christmas for many of our kids in our residential program is a difficult time. They often aren't able to spend time with family members, and while they see their peers leaving campus during Christmas break, several do not. Our staff work very hard to make this time special for them, and Kim and Glenn and the rest of the financial aid team have helped with this. Because of them, our kids get to load up in the van with their staff and head to the movies on Christmas Day. Every year since 2005, we have received 60 Savoy 16 movie tickets to be used on Christmas Day. Enough tickets so all of our youth and their direct care staff can celebrate this special tradition. From picking out the movie, which is no small task, to eating popcorn and other goodies, to watching the trailers of upcoming movies, to finally watching the feature film, we know this act of kindness from the Office of Student Financial Aid puts a smile on our kids' faces. Thank you to everyone at the Office of Student Financial Aid for creating a Christmas tradition our youth can look forward to each year.
Outstanding alumni. One of the greatest testaments to Cunningham's vision is the success of our alumni. Boys and girls who received our services as children or teens and then have gone on to become productive, engaged adults carrying out our mission through their words and deeds. To honor these special members of the Cunningham family, we introduced the Outstanding Alumni Award in 2017. This award is presented to an individual who demonstrates professional and personal success, service to the community, and a commitment to see children thrive and families flourish.
Considering the derogatory names Danielle's mother called her when she was a child, it came as a relief to be considered something positive, an award of the state. Later, Danielle came to realize that she had been confusing the word award with ward, meaning removal from her home by the state from the Department of Children and Family Services. But as an 8-year-old child who had been emotionally and physically abused the majority of her life, Danielle needed to believe that she was special and valuable to someone. It was all too overwhelming for Danielle's mom. Between the ages of 8 and 16, Danielle lived in several foster homes and group homes. She says, unfortunately, many people, my mother is a prime example, are not ready or unable to provide care to their children. Those who are not ready to be parents too often abandon, hurt, or lose their children to the state. The children are left then searching for parental guidance and love in places and people they never should have to. As one of these children, I can admit that when you do find this miracle place, you are ecstatic and don't care whether the people in it are your biological parents or not. For me, this place is Cunningham Children's Home. Danielle arrived at Cunningham in the fall of 2003 when she was about to turn 18. She started receiving services through our independent living options. The ILO program teaches young adults between the ages of 19 to 21 self-sufficiency and independence while they live on their own in the community. Our caseworkers act like parents and grandparents available for support and guidance with the ultimate goal of launching youth to independence. Everything was going as planned. A recent high school graduate, Danielle enrolled at Parkland College, received her associate's degree in gen eds, and soon after she ventured down to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale to continue her education. After graduating from SIU in 2008, right in the middle of the Great Recession, Danielle took the first job she could find and became a receptionist at a nurse staffing agency because, as she puts it, I had to eat. She liked the job well enough, but says, my soul was dying, so I decided to reflect on what could be a better soul-reviving option. School counseling kept coming up in her searches, so she began to investigate options. In 2011, she moved to Chicago and enrolled at NEIU in their school counseling program. By 2014, she graduated and found work here at Cunningham and worked at Circle Academy for 2 years. In 2016, she met a kind woman in Chicago who hired her as a part-time counselor in her practice, and she moved into a full-time role by the fall of 2017. Today, Danielle works at a school in Chicago as a school social worker and still works part-time as a counselor, and is currently in the midst of creating her own counseling therapy business in which she hopes to primarily counsel youth. Danielle says she feels so fortunate to have figured out what she wanted to do and that she had to take a look at how she could try to be good in this role. Recognizing her own trauma and biases was key and still is. Every time I make a good connection with a kid or their family, it's so rewarding, she says. Becoming fluent in Spanish is one of those rewarding ways and another one of her professional successes. Communicating in Spanish with people who have never been heard or supported by someone in her role allows her to be a good resource to so many. I get to help a wider array of people in need, but really, Danielle is rather humble at how far she has come. She says, honestly, I can't sit here and toot my own horn without first stating that what I do is not enough. There needs to be some great and vast changes to the fundamentals of how our society is run in order for lasting and true justice to be served to so many populations of people. For my part, however, I work within the system as it is to help empower kids to defy negative messages they hear about their value as people and learn ways to recognize and regulate their emotions. She validates their pain and works to help them develop skills to be resilient in a world and era that wants to beat them down. It is a bit like what she learned from her time at Cunningham, though admittedly not in such overt ways. Danielle recalls she did a lot of growing up during her time in the ILL program at Cunningham and had quite a few momentous occasions. Some of the more interesting moments included having roommates also in the program. Conflict management at 18 and 19 years old is as hilarious as it is treacherous. Aside from some of this particular drama, some of her favorite memories include giving her case manager, Jill, a hard time, yet always valuing her input at the same time. And like all parent and child relationships, everything wasn't always pleasant. Danielle recalls, "I've yelled at Jill many times, and I know there were times when she wanted to say, 'Forget you.' But rough times make a relationship stronger, and the fact is, Cunningham cared about me too much to ever give up on me. And knowing this, I could never stay mad for too long." The ILO program at Cunningham opened her life to opportunities that eventually allowed her to be free. She had freedom to explore her identities and interests. She was free to be vulnerable and work on her trauma, free to feel that she was lovable and worthy as a person, free to experience love and marry a brilliant and kind woman, and by doing the emotional work on herself necessary to make this even a remote reality. While I lived at Cunningham, I became what I'd always sought, someone's child, a valued person who did in fact become an award. It's my honor to introduce and award Danielle Shepard, this year's Outstanding Alumni.
Kindness to me is someone's way of helping out a person, or it could even be an animal. It's also a way to show someone that you may care or respect them. It could also mean being kind to all around you, or even if you may not like them, you could still at least try to be kind and considerate to them.
Kindness to me is being respectful, being loved, being cared for, and being happy.
Kindness to me is helping people out and giving stuff out to people that don't expect it.
Kindness to me is a feeling of niceness and joy.
Kindness to me is being positive.
Kindness to me is helping people.
Kindness to me is helping others when needed, even when I am mad.
Kindness to me is when someone thinks of others in a thoughtful way.
Kindness to me is when you do something nice for someone that you do or do not know.
Kindness to me is being nice and respectful to others.
Kindness to me is when you help someone and you are sweet and kind.
Kindness to me is goodness.
Don't you just love it when you hear from our kids? They really are remarkable, and their resilience is so inspiring, especially during these difficult times in our nation. But just think about it. Think of the impact we could make on the world if each of us became more intentional about being kind. Imagine what our neighbors would be like if each of us offered, as a matter of course, just one kind word to another person. And speaking of neighborhoods, since 2018, our agency has made it a priority to expand opportunities of care for youth, adults, and families in our own community. We've really branched out, and our Cunningham neighborhood has indeed grown. And it's a beautiful day in the Cunningham neighborhood. Won't you join me? Over the past 10 years, Cunningham has offered a number of quality community services to make our neighborhoods beautiful. We woke up one day and found out we simply just did not have enough space, and so we just renovated the old Circle Academy building into some really beautiful office space. So let's go inside and see what they're up to. Hi, Aunt Piercy.
Well, hello, Marlon. Isn't it a beautiful day in the Cunningham neighborhood?
It's always a beautiful day in the Cunningham neighborhood.
That's true.
Tell me a little bit about some of the staff we might be meeting and what makes them so special.
Oh, the staff that you're meeting today are just exceptional individuals. Community Services serves approximately 500 youth and families
500.
within the community and surrounding communities. We have 40 staff members within the community services, and they're just all hardworking, dedicated, talented individuals.
Now you said other communities, so we serve Champaign-Urbana community, but we also serve families in other counties as well?
Yes, we serve 7 other counties, and the staff take their expertise and they go to the 7 other counties and work with families.
Well, I'm excited to hear what your staff are doing, not only in this neighborhood, but in all the other neighborhoods to make it wonderful. So I'm very excited. So let's go meet some of them.
Okay.
We're here with Marie Duffin. She's the Associate Director of Family Services for Cunningham Children's Home, and very excited to talk with her. How are you, Marie?
I'm great. It's a beautiful day in the Cunningham neighborhood.
It's always a beautiful day in the Cunningham neighborhood. I know that you recently did a Zoom call with Brooke, and I'd love for us just to drop in on that Zoom call, and so we can learn more about the Family Stronger Together program.
Great. Really proud of this new program in our community services department, so I'm really happy to talk about it. Cunningham was awarded a grant from the Champaign County Mental Health Board, and this program is focused on young people aged 10 to 17 who live in Champaign County, who are at risk of becoming involved or who have already become involved in the juvenile justice system. And so this is a really unique program because we take a style that provides mental health services, not just for the young person, but therapeutic support for the entire family. And so I'm proud to be a part of a program that's also Champaign County specific. In all my 22 years at Cunningham, I've worked with people from all over the state, and I've longed to have a program that's just right here, local, and it's really great to have this offering to our local community.
That's really neat that, because I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, the family's been through trauma, not just the individual who's having a hard time and has maybe gotten mixed up in kind of the wrong stuff.
And we use a treatment framework that's called ARC, and that stands for Attachment, Regulation, and Competency. And it's a very flexible treatment framework that allows us to individualize treatment for the needs of the family. And I always like to emphasize that the way that the treatment plan sort of is structured with ARC is it's in the shape of a house. So already the way that the visual of our treatment planning already focuses on the family and focuses on the whole house. And it's really beautiful. So we start with some foundational interventions. And then the very first treatment approach is what we call caregiver affect management. And so the caregiver is the very first target of our therapeutic intervention. And everyone is usually surprised with that. And we say it's not personal. Everyone gets invited to the table in that way. And the idea is that when the adult caregivers are more aware of what they're feeling and what they need and how they can best respond, then we actually can have a dramatic effect for the young person. And so it's a non-judgmental and really inclusive treatment framework.
Talk to me a little bit about, is this a court-ordered program, or how does Cunningham and your staff get connected with clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. So no, it's a completely voluntary program. And so families that want to be involved, they are doing so voluntarily, and it's also coming to them without cost, which is great because, as we said, we've been funded by the Champaign County Mental Health Board. And so what happens is we get referrals from many different sources in Champaign County. We worked hard with our stakeholders in our local community, including people like the state's attorney, the public defender, the superintendent of the juvenile detention center, the supervisor at the probation court services. Lots of community members had a real stake in helping us to plan for this beautiful program, and now we're in the implementation phase, which is really exciting. But basically, our referral sources recommend families to us, and then we reach out and we offer more information or details about our program to the families, and then the legal guardian can choose yes or no to become involved. And what we've really found since we started the program this year is that we're getting lots of yeses. The caregivers are very, very happy to get some support. And you know, there's certainly some concern sometimes that people have, oh, this might look good for the courts. But even the stakeholders made a plan that this program is truly voluntary. It's about gaining skills and helping families to recover together from their traumatic experiences. And so it really is meant to be welcoming, inclusive, and skills-based, and not necessarily a you must do situation.
And you really only have had this program kind of in the implementation stage since March, correct?
Correct.
So
yeah.
How in this short time have you or your staff already seen kind of stories of hope come through with the families and youth that you're working with?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Brooke. It's been really interesting. So when we did all of our planning for the programs, we were so excited and we came up with all these community locations where we'd be providing services, and we admitted our first client, and like the next week we went into our shelter-in-place orders in Illinois. And so we had to get really creative really quickly on how to reach these families, even though we weren't allowed to go to them in person. And so basically our staff has become really gifted at providing mental health services via telehealth services. And so we do sessions by phone and by Zoom, just like this. And it's been really great to see people stretch themselves and find a way to reach families anyway. And really what's happened is we found that sometimes it's even easier to engage families because they don't have barriers like transportation, right, or scheduling. However, we did write this grant to include some support for families with transportation. So when we go back to full-time face-to-face, we'll be able to support them with that barrier as well. Nonetheless, engagement has been somewhat easier, providing telehealth services. It is true, though, that sometimes the referral sources haven't been able to send us as many as referrals because their programs were closed during those shelter-in-place orders. So now what's happened since the summer when Illinois had less restrictions, we're really ramping up the number of referrals that are coming to us, which is great because our team is fully staffed and we're really excited. So one family that comes to mind when I think about sort of what's unique about our program and why we're a great offering to Champaign County, there's a young person who has had multiple police contacts this year, which is really worrisome to his guardian. And it's kind of a newer behavior and it's troubling. And basically what happens is because our team takes this team approach, there's multiple people that come to the table when we do an intake. There's a family therapist and also a family support specialist that work together. And we interview and we listen to what the family's going through. And what we discovered with this young person is something that other mental health providers or other adults in their life hadn't really heard yet, which is that this young person is experiencing auditory and visual hallucinations, which may be contributing to these events. And so our team caught it, we heard it, and we started making referrals immediately. So not only are we providing them services, but we brought in this federally funded program that could help to support that. We empowered the caregiver to actually call the state's attorney and to explain her concerns. And I want to tell you that the Champaign County State's Attorney was really compassionate and listened and really thanked this guardian for coming forward with her concerns. And so what the state's attorney and the public defender were able to do is to sort of rush request a psychiatric evaluation for that young person. So not only are they getting our services, but there's some other services within the juvenile justice system that's really providing some mental health relief. So it's a long road for this young person. We're nowhere near done helping the family, but that was such a great success for this summer.
Yeah, and I think just really incredible in that the short amount of time and given all these obstacles for launching a program pre-COVID, through COVID, and that you guys have really already made a difference in kind of beginning efforts of locally interrupting that school to prison pipeline. And I can't wait to see how you guys continue to grow and help families in our community.
Thank you. And I'm glad you highlighted that because not only are the families saying, yes, please help, but all these stakeholders and community partners that we're interacting with are like, we're so glad you're here. Even folks who are part of the juvenile justice system, they want so much to have better answers. They want so much to be able to offer treatment services, mental health services, rather than, as you said, the school to prison pipeline. So it's great. We're here to help.
Well, as you can see, I'm a huge fan of Marie, and it's obvious why. Now we're going to go down the hall and talk to one of our next rock stars that I'm so excited to introduce you to, Angie BERTAUSKI-PIERCE. So bye, Marie, and thank you.
Bye, Marlon. Have a great day in the neighborhood.
Will do.
Hi, Marlon.
Hi, Angie. How are you?
Good. Let me get my glasses. It's a beautiful day to be in the Cunningham neighborhood.
It's always a beautiful day to be in the Cunningham neighborhood.
Yes, for sure.
Obviously, Angie's a prankster, 22 years of that. That's what's kept her alive and well. And you are one of my all-time favorite staff, just so you know.
Thank you.
Well, I know Angie BERTAUSKI-PIERCE, you've been here for 22 years.
Yes, my site's been going.
That's right, that's right.
Good vision insurance here.
What have you been doing to improve your site?
Oh, always. Carrots.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
Unlimited.
I'm not too sure they're working all that well for you based
I
on
know,
your glasses.
I know. I'll go back and have a check.
Well, I know you recently had a Zoom call with Brooke, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And on that Zoom call, you were telling folks about our homelessness program.
Yes.
Let's drop in on that Zoom call and learn more about what Cunningham's doing to make our neighborhood wonderful.
Yes.
Just providing some information on our runaway and homeless youth and our ECHO program. And I just kind of wanted to start a little bit just trying to explain kind of how the continuum of our work went forward. So we initially started with, for several years, we've been doing independent living, which is like transitional living programs, and then they go into their own apartment to independent living. And so that's been very, well ran. We've had that running for years and had a lot of success. And during those programs, a lot of our work has been helping those young adults get into the resources, helping them find housing, really getting a community-based relationships established. And so back in probably the spring of, I would guess, 2018, we saw a grant come forward to us that was an opportunity for us to apply through the Champaign County Mental Health Board. And it was to serve individuals and families in Champaign County to stabilize with their housing, to help with homelessness, the risk of homelessness. And when we read that, we really felt like a lot of our work that we're doing now through transitional living, independent living, was very similar to that task and that case management with that program. So we said, great opportunity for us to expand, a well-deserving population, and really felt like we'd be a good match. And so we applied to the Champaign County Mental Health Board, got the grant, started in July of 2018. Through that first year, we hired a case manager. We have a coordinator currently for that. During that first year, we had served, and I would have to look at the statistics, but I believe it was like 39 individuals and families in Champaign County. And it went really well, and it was really exciting to have faith-based work as part of that mission and to help them really vulnerable population in our own community. So when we had our first year from July 2018 to 2019, we looked at our numbers and we looked at the population we served, and we said, looking at those families that we served, those individuals and families, we found, and I believe it was like 5 or 6 in between the ages of 18 up to 24. And so from there we said, wow, there's definitely a population that we're kind of already serving through the DCFS contract side, but there's definite need for those in the community that are not DCFS related. So we learned of a grant through Department of Human Services. It's for runaway and homeless youth. And we decided we're doing the work already, really, through transitional living, independent living, and now through our ECHO, which is Empowering Connections Through Hope and Opportunity, to apply for the RIE, which is Runaway and Homeless Youth. And so we applied for that grant through DHS, Department of Human Services, and we got that grant. So we started that in July of 2019. And that is really a good component, a strong collaboration with our ECHO program, because we can start serving youth 14 up to 24 years of age in the Runaway and Homeless program, and then really focus through the ECHO program with 24 and above with individuals and families. So it's really just kind of tightening up the services, even though they're paid through different funders, but it's really the same type of work that we're doing, which is, serving the homeless and the most vulnerable. So through the RIE, we have 2 beds through our transitional living that are designed to take those 14 up to 20. Actually, the house is a license through the state, so they can't be 21 in that house. But there's 2 beds there that we can have young adults have emergency shelter needs or transitional living needs. So we're really taking them directly off the street and put them into that house. And so there's 2 beds designed specifically for that population. We have another home that we opened, which is a little bit different for Cunningham because it's an unstaffed home. We do, pop-ins, we have an office there, but it's really primarily designed for homeless young adults 18 up to 24. There's 4 beds in a house that they share in the heart of Champaign, right there, really close by the MTD terminal, where the young adults are living together, they're cooking together, they're grocery shopping. And so they're really trying to work on their goals to get them independent, which is be like their own apartment or their own stable housing. And some of those are also moms, they're young moms, they have children, and so they may be sharing the room, but the house is pretty full. So they can stay there up to 2 years in that house. And we continue to provide, pop-in visits, case management services, just routine visits to say, how's everything going? Making sure it's safe, it's clean, it's a beautiful, well-kept home. The young adults are very appreciative of the services. We sometimes get donations of food and we take them over there and fill the freezer. So they've always been very open to say thank you for, providing us all the services that are provided. And then what we're doing is we're trying to get them stable and getting them out of that transitional living home so we can add, someone else can have that bed. And so our goal is to try to get them connected for employment, to save their money, to get housing that is safe for them or their child, and connect with those resources in town as well. Our goal would be, and I know this is a lofty goal, but our goal would be to continue to add on transitional living programs in that capacity, even if it's a specialty population. So what we're doing now, because now we're in our second year of that grant through the RIDE, the Runaway Homeless Youth, we're really trying to see how many are we serving through that pregnant parenting teen population? How many are we serving that are with mental health needs or specialty populations? And so from there, that may create some opportunity to where could we add on to homes and have it very specialized for what some of their issues are, what they're dealing with, and make it a safer, more supportive home for them. So that would be our ultimate goal. But
that's a lofty goal, but that's where these dreams start as goals. So yes. It really sounds like your staff has done incredible work in such a short time. So do you want to talk a little bit about some of the stories of hope that you've personally seen or your staff has worked with through the program?
Yes, and I will say, now that we've had COVID hit, we have seen our referrals and the need in the community really increase. And so we're doing our best to provide outreach services, but we do have a waiting list that we're trying to say, hey, we're trying to provide you services and we're trying to get people to move on as quick as they can, but there's definitely a need that people are struggling with some of their housing stability in the community. And we've seen that come through both programs. So we've had some really great successes in those programs. Our staff are very energized when they have someone come and they say, thank you, or I love this, or I appreciate this. We have a lot of different successes with people just finding housing. I can tell you we had a young mom, and it was kind of a very unfortunate circumstance where she ended up getting bed rest. She was pregnant and she was due in April, and she was turning 24 at the same time, which limits her ability to receive services. So what we did is we continued to get extensions and as well as refer her to the other program, ECHO, but we're able to very quickly pay for a security deposit and rent after the baby was born, and she established employment. And now she's living in a smaller community right outside, it's part of Champaign County, but she's living in Rantoul, and she just contacted us and said, things are going great. I'm really happy. Thank you for helping me get on my feet. So hers was a little more pressure because we knew what services were needed by a deadline. Mm-hmm. So, if they're motivated and they're working and they have the same goals, we have the same goals they have, which is to provide stability and long-term housing and long-term support through the resources of Champaign County, through the help that we receive. Maybe some of the people watching this recording will say, well, what about their mom and dad, or what about their brother? I mean, they don't have the family support that's there that maybe some of us have, where we could go stay with a uncle and aunt, a grandparent, or somebody that has long-term stability. They don't have that. And so for them, it literally is what's available in our community. And at some points in time, Champaign may have had to turn people away and go to another community area that had shelter that could serve them. But now we're letting them stay in what they consider their community and help providing them with the support they need, with the connections that they have around them. So it's very important that we have this for the community, and we're just really proud of the programs and the work that our workers are doing.
We are just so blessed to have staff like Angie who truly cares about these kids and their families. Sure, our staff wants to do a good job because our ability to get these grants depends on it. But in words of Mr. Rogers, there are 3 ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. And the third way, you guessed it, is to be kind. We want to share a story with you about Timothy, one of our ECHO clients who not only got back on his feet because of the work our staff do, but also experienced kindness in a very special way, the Cunningham way.
In July 2018, when Cunningham's Community Services received a grant to start the ECHO Housing and Employment Support Program, our staff hit the ground running. ECHO provides comprehensive housing, employment, and life skills development to Champaign County citizens who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. Tim was one of ECHO's very first clients. Having fallen on hard times, Tim moved back to the Champaign-Urbana area with basically nothing. While he still had some connections in the area, none were in a position to help him financially or with housing. He had nowhere to go. By the time Tim got connected with the ECHO program, he had been living on the streets for 5 years. On nights when the weather was favorable, Tim slept in a hollowed-out spot on the ground with tree cover. On nights when it rained or if the weather was really bad, he would sleep in covered areas in between buildings. And when the winter shelters opened, he would utilize those. Tim did get some help from other nonprofits in the community, like the Phoenix Daytime Drop-In Center, where he spent time during the day, and Daily Bread, where he could get lunch and a snack dinner to go. So you can imagine how excited Tim was when he found out he had been approved for the Shelter Plus Care Grant, which helps provide both housing and support services for people who are homeless and have a disability. As with any governmental assistance program, there were many requirements, strict guidelines, and procedures. So it took nearly 45 days to actually get Tim housing. But Tim was great through the process. When tasks were asked of him, he got them done. There were some frustrating hurdles and delays, but Tim stayed patient and positive and was thankful every day for the actions Cunningham's staff took on his behalf. Once Tim moved into his apartment, ECHO staff began providing case management and care coordination services. They helped Tim organize different parts of his life, like getting a Social Security card and a birth certificate, and figuring out what benefits he could receive. When someone is worried about where they're going to sleep that night and what meal they're going to eat later that day, it's difficult to work toward future stability. So ECHO's case management services were a big deal for Tim, and he was super receptive to them. Today, Tim welcomes us into his neighborhood, into his home, and talks with his caseworker Mike about the ECHO program and the kindness that has been shown to him.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Tim? What's happening, buddy? Come on in. Thank you. Lovely day in the neighborhood, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of lovely,
Cool.
look at this. And cool.
You like?
I do like. This is nice. And look, accent wall, dude. I love it, man.
I like it.
That looks really nice.
Yeah.
It really makes this place look, it pops. Kind of like you.
Since 1895, United Methodist Women and quilters from across Illinois have made quilts for Cunningham kids. Thanks to them, thousands of lives have been wrapped in warmth, safety, and love. The kindness of this beautiful tradition has carried over to the ECHO program.
Hey, buddy, how's it going, man?
How you doing, Mike?
I am doing good, sir. Thank you. Enjoying your apartment?
Well, of course you know I am.
I know you are, definitely. Tell me, Tim, what has the ECHO program meant for you?
The ECHO program is meant for me as for helping me stabilize myself more than I was as I was homeless in past years. And now that I'm not, they help me establish housing and resources around town that I really appreciate.
Good, good. I know it's been a process. I know it's been a tough process. What have you learned through this process?
I've learned with a little hard work and helpful friends throughout the program and throughout the community that anybody can do better.
So sitting here looking at this cool apartment, and it really is a cool apartment, tell me some of the things that you like about this place.
Well, I love it because it's a bigger space. Actually, Mike, this is my second apartment through the program. The other one's kind of small, but I have more perks here as far as central air, central heat, a dishwasher, a patio.
A cool accent wall.
Oh yes, I recently received this lovely quilt from my friends from Cunningham Children's Home through the ECHO program.
Nice. I love it. It really makes this living room awesome. It does. It makes it special. Because you're a special guy.
Yes, I am.
You are. And you remember that. So with all the things that you've done with the ECHO program and the struggles that you've had, what would you tell somebody that's out on the street, homeless or going through hard times? What would you tell them about the program or about, how the ECHO program has helped you and, what they could expect?
Well, the first thing is signing up. You may get in, you may not, but I'm free to offer any kind of assistance that I can as far as being where they are now or somewhat there is. And hey, anybody can change, make a change.
Can you think of anything in particular, any one thing that kind of stands out? Something that maybe you really struggled with that you were able to overcome?
Well, yeah, like moving out of the first apartment into this apartment now, I had an issue at the old apartment complex that I had to leave my furniture there. So Mike rallied through his resources and came across a plan that I have furniture now that's brand new, practically brand new, that it's much, much better than my old furniture.
You've worked so hard on patience and coping skills.
Yeah, you taught me a lot of that.
I'm thinking in particular when moving from Champaign to Urbana, it was difficult in that you had some financial issues where things had kind of got delayed.
Yeah.
And the way you coped with that and how patient you were with that, which I'm sure was very trying. Tell me a little bit about that process, because I was very proud of how you handled that.
By you being my caseworker, you knew a lot about that. But you told me to just be patient. Something's gonna happen. I mean, it did. It took a couple weeks later than it was supposed to, but I still managed some way, somehow, with a little help from you.
I've seen the changes that you've gone through.
Yes, it's 3 years so far I've been in the program.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm working on my 3rd year.
Right, right.
And I don't seem to have any problems, none whatsoever.
No, I think you've done fantastic. In the time that I've worked with you, you know, I've seen where you were, where you are now, and the changes are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you and the things that you've done.
Oh, thank you, Frank. Appreciate it.
Hey, nothing to thank me for. You're the one doing the hard work.
True. It wasn't for my 3 lovely caseworkers, TJ, Selene, Mike now, the present caseworker. I mean, they helped me in so many ways. So many ways that all I can say is I'm so much very appreciative of the help that they've given me, the help that they've shown me, that maybe I can pass it on to the next person.
Hey Tim, I just want to say thank you for, you know, coming in and letting me into your apartment and having this conversation with me, and, you know, more importantly, bringing the Cunningham family in to meet you.
Well, if it wasn't for the Cunningham family, I would be here.
I want to welcome you to our Cunningham community, because you're one of our special kids, let's say. Tell me what it means to be, even though you're not a kid, I'm gonna say, what's it mean to be a Cunningham kid for you?
I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Stories like Timothy's are so impactful, and we are only able to do this great work because of the dedication of our board and committee members who continue to support programming that serves the Cunningham community, and we are so thankful.
In my neighborhood this summer, there has been a lot of movement. Several people have sold their homes and moved to be closer to their families and grandchildren. New people have moved in. The neighborhood continues to change. Our Cunningham board and committees are changing as well. Some are moving on from their active service on the Cunningham board or committees, and today others are moving in. They are picking up where others left off. They will be leading and guiding this agency in the year to come. We want to welcome Pat Catlett, Pat Davis, Joyce Goodwin, Karen Kaplan, Christina Crost, Carol Martin, Pam Painter, and Barb Smith. As you ready yourself for what's ahead, hear these words from Philippians chapter 3. I am on my way, reaching out for Christ, who has so wondrously reached out for me. I've got my eye on the goal. God is pointing toward, and I'm off and running, and I'm not turning back. I offer this blessing now to all the new board and committee members and those of you who will be continuing your service at Cunningham. Let us pray. Loving God, you have equipped each of these people with gifts and abilities and called them to this ministry. Unite these kind and committed servants as they watch over the Cunningham neighborhood in the year ahead. Bless them as they work together to accomplish your purposes. May your peace and your joy be with them and all of us, always. Amen.
We are grateful you took the time to visit our Cunningham neighborhood today. The fact is, this is an unprecedented time and we need unprecedented kindness. So remember, take the time to be kind. You can make all the difference in someone's life.